Hey everybody, this is Chelsea Schaefer.
And Caitlin Gustov.
And this is The Score, the official podcast of the sport of team roping. This is the Team Roping Journal's semi-weekly podcast highlighting the team roping industry's top talent and influencers through stories that inspire and connect ropers. We sit down with ropers from the professional ranks as well as industry icons and producers to delve into topics that make the team roping world tick. This is season 2. It will feature even deeper interviews, storytelling, and issue-based coverage, and we are so excited you're here. Numbers don't lie, and neither do gold buckles. That's why you're getting the chance to hear a second conversation this year with the one and only Clay Tryan. You listened to his episode more than almost any other we've recorded, and that's no accident. His prolific win record is hard to top, and his winning attitude is worth studying and trying to understand. I caught up with him as he prepares to rope with the Thomas and Mack, this time with Jake Long. He'll be the third in his family, and that means brothers Brady and Travis, to head for the quick-throwing Kansas Healer in Vegas. And he's got the same confident swag he's always had going into the finals. So with just 2 weeks until the start of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, here is Clay Tryan. This episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes. They're made in the USA since 1995. Check out fastbackropes.com and you'll learn more about them at the break in the episode. Well, good morning, Clay.
How's it going?
Good.
Outside in Texas tack room doing this one.
Yeah, it's better than Skype, isn't it?
Maybe.
Maybe
Skype's better. I don't know. It's good.
Well, sometimes I think Skype, doing it like over Skype is better because I'm not worried about, I don't worry about what I say as much as in person, but I don't imagine you're going to worry about what you say to me in person.
Oh, I might. You never know. We got the birds chirping out here, so it's a nice morning in Texas. So.
It's very nature heavy. Well, thanks for doing part 2 of your interview in person. This one is also brought to us by Fastback. I passed their plant down the road.
Yeah.
Are you going to have the same rope this year in Vegas?
As I did last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I plan on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I plan on using the same 3-strand. I'm one of the last guys that still uses them, but yeah, I kind of old school, I guess.
How long have you been using that rope?
Well, I started out using it in, I want to say maybe 2003. And then I switched to a 4-strand Ultimate 4 for a while, and then I just switched back. So I don't really know. Just kind of, I don't know if that's what I'm used to or had better with, or I don't know, but I just like them.
That's awesome. Okay, so I figured one thing that would be fun to do with you for this podcast is kind of the greatest and the worst. So, because I love nothing more than your opinion on things. So I wanted you to tell me the greatest moment in NFR history. Do you have one?
For me?
For anybody. Greatest thing you've ever watched in the top.
That I've watched? Like, oh man, that's a great question. Well, the coolest thing I did is before I made the NFR, my grandpa had NFR tickets, and he had them. He had them from when my dad made the NFR. He went in 1984, and he went all the way up until last year, every year. And he had season tickets with a guy, and somehow he got kind of finagled out of them. But my grandpa is one of those guys, he wins in the end, I think. So as soon as he got finagled kind of out of his tickets that he was partners with, me and my brother started making it every year. So he's went every year except for last year to the NFR. So I went round 1, and maybe it was 1997. So that was a cool experience. Nothing exciting happened. That was the first year Speed and Rich won it, and they won the first go-round. I remember it was just kind of cool being there. And I think one of the coolest moments I seen last year was, I think we talked about last podcast, was the race. As far as me being there, taking me out of it was just Caleb and Junior and Clay and Paul just having a good battle, and it coming down to last year, and then they won it. Obviously, Clay and Paul won it, but that was cool being there, watching that. It's weird when you're in it, you don't get to see as much.
Mm-hmm.
Is people that do watching it, you're actually, what's going on because you can get the sheets easy. Like they have a sheet every night. You can tell who's doing what in the average and who's won what. That's easy to keep up with. But as far as watching every run, sometimes you don't see when you're getting on your horse, or they have TVs when you ride out back and after you don't do any good or you did good in the tent, they kind of turn the TV on late. You don't even see half the runs, so sometimes you go back to your room and watch it. But that was a cool moment. I think what I think when I was a kid, the coolest moment was Bobby Hurley and Alan Bach winning 5 rounds in a row. That was pretty impressive to do that. Um, I don't know. There's been a lot of good moments. I mean, really. I mean, everybody that usually wins a gold buckle, there's some point in there that they, made a good run to win it. I think for me, the coolest moment I had was me and Patrick. The first time I won it, '05. We were kind of out of the average and going for every go round, and then round 9 was really tough. And at the time we were 3-5. Not that being 3-5 was cool. It was just winning the round when you needed to do it. That was pretty awesome, I guess.
And were you on Thumper?
I rode Thumper, yeah.
Thumper.
He had Jaws. Probably our 2 best horses for both of us ever at the NFR. I know mine, he's been the best one I've ever rode there. And then I'm sure he might say the same thing about it. He might not say the same thing, but I still think that was his best horse he's had. My opinion.
Yeah. So that's my next question, which I feel like the greatest horse question. I feel like it kind of answers itself, but maybe your opinion's different. The greatest head horse of all time.
Of anyone's?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to say. I think my brother's is in the Hall of Fame, so obviously his would be right up there. Charles Pogue, I never rode him or nothing. His horse was, iconic and legendary. And I mean, there's always, one coming along that's great. Clay Smith's horse is great right now. He's been that way for a while. I thought I've had a few throughout the years that were really good, that made my career good. But I guess I'd go with my brother's probably. I think the one thing about Walt that I thought was awesome, I didn't ride him. I rode him a lot when we first started out, kind of got my career going, is I hadn't rode him in probably, I don't even know if we talked about this in the last podcast, but like 2010, I hadn't probably rode him in maybe 5 or 6 years, hadn't run a steer on him. And my horse, I was kind of out of horses, and I had just bought Dew. And he had an abscess at Denver, couldn't ride him, he was just dead lame. So my brother was up there, and I rode his horse, and I was high man back, like won the second go around, high man back on him. I rode Dew on the last one, but just hadn't rode. He was 20 years old at the time and still felt good. And that's hard to do, 10 years of getting hauled down the road and still being good at 20. Yeah, he was dang sure one of the best, dang sure one of the best ones I ever rode. But there's different scenarios nowadays. It's so different. Like, I think Thumper's the best horse I've ever rode at the NFR, the black one. And if I had him now, I rode better now than I did back then. So he might be the best horse I've ever had, or
Yeah.
And Dew was great at George Straits, and I did win a few world titles on him, and Mare Kate. I've had a lot of good horses. I've been fortunate. I don't know if it's me doing the right thing or just getting in the right spot at the right time, but.
If you could pick one of the 3 great ones, Dew, Kate, or Thumper, and have only had one, could you say which one you would rather have had?
No, it'd be impossible because they all did something for me that made it good. I mean, Thumper was better at the NFR. Dew was unbelievable at the George Strait and all the ropins. So was Thumper. Thumper was good at the ropins. And you rope better at certain times than you do. There will be a time where I won't rope as good as I used to, so then I might even have a better horse than all of them, but I won't be able to show it. That's the weird part is guys that are good at what they do, they have the best horses because they're just good at what they do. Always says if this guy had a horse, well, if he's a guy that reaches at the barrier every time, that horse ain't going to be like Walt. He's just going to be another average horse, and that's what. So that's, I was joking with Triggers the other day. I was like, you're not going to win Horse of the Year because you don't show him enough. You throw too fast, so it doesn't. You don't know if the horse is any good or not, and it's honestly true.
Yeah.
Because he has had some good horses, but I'm just saying when you throw so fast, there's no way you can ever win it because no one ever sees the horse. He runs 16 feet and you threw it. So it's hard to showcase a horse when you're going at him that hard. Me, I gotta go a little bit farther, so it's a little easier to tell.
Did you help break in NFR steer? They said they broke them in yesterday.
Yeah, we roped them yesterday and the day before. Yeah, they're great. They look like as good a set as there is. I mean, you never know. I mean, they always look worse in the arena than they are, but it's more the arena than the steers.
Sure.
So, but as far as the way a steer should look, these are a perfect set, I think.
So how did you guys break them in yesterday?
We just roped them, and Well, we roped him a couple times the first day. I mean, we run him down, obviously, and then just had him and heel him, try and do a good job. Everybody does a pretty good job. Everybody kind of knows what they're doing. And I don't know. It worked pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit of a cluster because we had 80 of them, so it was quite a bit.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so the NFR this year. You said you've prepared, you've busted your butt before and had terrible NFRs, and you've barely practiced and had good ones, or not put in the effort.
No,
so,
I mean, I've always put the effort in practicing, but staying rope like that set up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I haven't started doing it yet. I think more about the NFR is it's just like any rope in a rodeo. That you got to rope you might rope a good BFI one year and then not the next, and the year you rope a good one, you won it. And so I mean, a lot of it's getting off to a good start, being good in the average and all that stuff. But the NFR's weird. I mean, I've had good ones. I've had a lot of bad ones. It's kind of one of my spots where I don't feel like I've roped as good as I could ever, but maybe that's just the way I think. But and I've been there a lot too, so I guess I got a huge sample size. And I guess if you've been there 3 times and done good a couple times, you think you're good there. Well, if you made as much as me, maybe you wouldn't have been good every time. So, but I don't know. I'd like to do better there. That's one spot that's kind of bothered me where I feel like I should have done better than I have. But I mean, we'll see. It's just 1 year at a time, and hopefully, do good this year.
And Johnson and Dew are both going, or
I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm doing yet. Probably take Johnson for sure, but I got another little bay horse I bought that I might take him to. I doubt Dew's getting too old. I don't know. I haven't rodeoed on him much. I just jackpot on him a little bit, kind of around Texas. Just getting too old, but he's still pretty good. I might even run a few on him today, just kind of keep him in shape, keep him going. But I rode him yesterday, honestly. So.
You're horse shopping? Are you always horse shopping? You said somebody is coming to.
Oh yeah.
You're trying horse here.
More than you think. Yeah. That you're just always looking for something, or if you see one. I rode this horse a couple weeks ago and gonna try it out again. So this guy's a cool guy. He's bringing it back over. So he's got to be in the area. So he's coming by this morning.
Gotcha. I feel like I hear a lot of people, maybe not a lot. There's a certain group of guys that can or will sacrifice everything to spend $100,000, $150,000 on head horses, higher than that.
Yeah.
Will you get to the point of your career where that's a reality? Are you at the point of your career where that's a reality?
It would have been a long time ago. Not anymore. I'm not gonna anymore. But I mean, I can't say I would. I've spent a lot on Dew and Kate at the same time, but I got 2 horses. I don't know. I mean, just horses are worth whatever a person wants to pay for them, and they do matter. I mean, a good fit matters a lot. I think a guy that has whether it's Riley Minor and his horse or Clay Smith and his gray. I've done good on my little sorrel lately. I mean, some people have a good fit, and then there's guys like Driggers that'll ride 6 horses during the year. So everybody's different. I mean, some people want to give a lot, and they should. I mean, the horse does matter. And then some guys throw so fast, I don't think it matters what they rode.
Yeah.
So rope has changed a lot. It's just how fast it's gotten, how good guys handle their rope. A lot of misses, but a lot of fast times. Kind of like baseball. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of home runs. That's kind of the way rodeo's gotten, and with the team roping.
Is that good for the team roping?
I don't like the way it looks, but I mean, I know how talented they are. I'm not taking away from how good guys rope because the ability is good. But yeah, sometimes I go to some tournament where I'm like, it looks terrible. I don't really like the way it looks, but I don't even want to be an old school guy. I think it's just taken away that you used to kind of be able to see good runs, see the way a horse looks, and now it doesn't. It's more just speed. And you go to jackpots, and everybody always says a leg place or something somewhere, and it's like, but that leg beat you straight up, so you're going too slow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, I don't know. So it's just changing, and I don't think it's going back. It's not going back. It's just going to keep getting faster and faster, and that's what kids that are, to me, a lot of it has to do with what kids see when they're, 12 to 16 years old. That's what they think's normal, and so every 12 to 16-year-old kid, and nowadays the videos, they get to see a rope all year, so that's just what they work on, and that's normal to them, so it'll just keep getting faster.
This episode is brought to you by Fastback Ropes, a sponsor of our Rope Vegas program that's tracked every level of pro rodeo team roping all year, from the circuit standings to the Resistol rookie race to the Thomas and Mack. Fastback has an exciting line of ropes ready for this year's NFR, including the launch of a new breakaway rope that you're going to have to see to believe. With the ropes, too, they'll also have a steady stream of Mach 3s ready for you in Vegas, and that's the rope our guest Clay Tryan has done most of his winning with over the last 2 decades. Find them at all the major trade shows in Las Vegas, and watch Clay Tryan do battle every night with a Mach 3 in his hand in the Thomas & Mack. Remember, visit fastbackropes.com to find out where you can find a retailer, to shop for ropes, and to learn more about these made in the USA ropes. And Johnson, something that people have said to me about him is that he has that trait where he doesn't actually, like, not doing anything badly is a specific trait on his own. Johnson just is rock solid. Is there anywhere where Johnson is great, or is Johnson just doesn't do anything wrong?
I kind of don't play him up as much. I don't know why. Maybe because he's not the fastest horse I've ever rode, but he really is good. He might be the best rodeo horse regular season that I've ever had. Because he scores good every time. He faces good. The only weakness he doesn't pull that good inside. Other than that, he does everything pretty good. He runs hard enough. You can reach on him or run close. He makes it happen. He's got a good way. You make good runs. You're always pretty fast. So I don't play him up because he doesn't seem like he's the fastest horse that ever lived. And it seems like, for people to think it's the best horse, it's got to be like Riley's, fast horse. Or Clay Smith's great. A couple years ago, was unbelievably fast. He still is, but but he is he doesn't mess up. He's one of my favorites. He's tough. I ride him all the time. So yeah, I do think he's been a pretty good horse. He just doesn't have these superstar qualities, but roping's changing. It's not about the fastest horse that ever lived, but he scores good every time. I mean, he faces good, outside, unbelievable. I mean, he does a lot of things really good, and he does it every time. He doesn't ever hardly screw up.
I see him, I see them more in pictures than I see in videos, because I get the pictures from the photographers.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely, when I'm going through to choose photos to use for big spreads or covers, I don't ever pick Johnson, because it doesn't ever look like he's doing anything. He doesn't look outstanding, but you're always catching and you're always winning. There's nothing flashy about him, I guess.
Oh, I think there's flashy when you see me go all the time facing and stuff. And the people that rope good know. But, I mean, I won, this year alone, I won the Lone Star Shoot on him, NJ, short score, short setup. I won the Windy Ryan on him, long score. I won the roping in North Dakota, short score, kind of a small arena, even smaller than the Lone Star deal, and then I won a long score won the West Star roping.
Yeah.
All on the same horse. Well, all those horses I talked about, they were all there too.
Yeah.
So, and I'm 40, not 28. So the horse has got to be good, and that's why. I mean, I just don't. People like to brag on their horses. I don't. I think he's really good, and it's all about. You know what it is? It's all about winning. It doesn't matter the rest of it.
Yeah.
And the reason he placed in horse of the year this year 1 second, which is cool because. The only guys that were ahead of me, Clay Smith's horse doesn't have papers. Coleman Proctor won all his money at one spot, and Riley kind of did the same a little bit. And so, or Riley was behind me, I guess. Who else was ahead of me? Driggers rode like 6 horses, so it's hard to tell with him. And then me, I ride pretty much the same horse, or have the last 3 years, honestly. So yeah, he was deserving of it, I think.
Yeah, totally.
But just because of what I want,
And guys told me beforehand that they thought he was.
Yeah. Is he
Walt?
Is he one of the greatest of all time? I don't know, but I tell you what, roping evolves, and so like I said, all these horses I've had, for right now, he's be better than any of the other ones I've ever had, except at the NFR. Thumper NFR style would be, till they move it out of that building, he would be great. I think Speed's horse is the best one I've ever seen, and honestly, mine might be close to second. He pulls good, face good. So that's kind of where, roping changed. But there's not very many good horses at the NFR if you know what you're watching for. People don't know what they're watching for, but if you do know, there's not very many good ones because it's a hard. And they're roping smaller steers this year, which will help. Because I think the last few years, even though I won a few gold buckles, when they're just out of hand. I mean, roping the biggest steers you do all year in the smallest arena made no sense to me. But it shouldn't be like this year. It should be back to Times might get really fast though, because of the steers this year. But no, we'll wait and see.
You can say no, but as far as Jake and the NFR, do you think? I mean, what do you think? How do you think your run's going to come together with Jake at the NFR?
I don't know. It's a kind of wait and see deal. I mean, you try to have a game plan, and I kind of have one. I'm not going to really tell you what it is, but if you execute it, both guys got to be on now. That's the thing about roping. The times are so fast at the NFR that the days, I mean, not taking anything away because they won 8 in a row and it'll never be done again, but Speed and Rich would be off a little bit. They'd just go catch one and be 5-1 and win 4th in a round. The only way 5-1 ever plays is if everyone misses. I mean, a lot of times if you ain't a short 4, you don't even win nothing good. So both guys got to be on. It's a fast speed game. You got to catch a lot. You probably need to do good in the average. So, I mean, it's however you want to rope it. You can't miss a lot, but yeah, you got to make a lot of good runs. I mean, to me, it's just like roping a jackpot, except it's a rodeo. It's a 10-head jackpot, and the rounds matter a lot. And like I said, some good guys have good years and do great, and then the next year they don't. There's no the young guys, if they have one good year, they think they're going to do good every year, and they're wrong. They'll figure it out. You know, it's just part of being young. And then, you know, old guys sometimes go for the average, which I think it's cool to win the NFR average, but I think it's cooler to, you know, it's better to win it. I mean, it really doesn't mean.
Yeah.
Some guys have won it, just win for it. I mean, that ain't good for you, but you know, guys like last year that were going for it, winning it. What matters is who wins the most money there, not if you won the average or not.
Yeah. Speaking of young guys, who are you excited to watch in Vegas this year? There's quite a few young guys that made it.
Oh, I don't know. They're all good nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all so much more advanced. I mean, I don't know. There's not one. I compete against them, so I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me. But they're kids are just more advanced, you know, nowadays, just because of the videos, and they've been around. They all know each other before they started. I'm kind of right at the end of the generation that we didn't. I mean, I didn't know anyone when I started.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never been to the high school finals. I never high school rodeoed. I never did any of that. So when I started rodeoing, it was just, and I was, you know, me and Petsko were the same age. He was roping with his dad out there, and I was roping with mine at Houston, and so he's about the only one. We were both 18 years old, and at Houston, I didn't even rodeo that year. I just went to Denver and made it. Back then, they took, which they still do, but nowadays they start the year so different. But back then, like if you placed at Denver, you could go to Houston. So I did good at Denver, and then I got to go to Houston. So I just went to a few rodeos that year. But
Speaking of that stuff counting, are you gonna try and make the circuit finals for the circuit? Like, I don't know. What boat are you on as far as the circuit finals, counting, not counting?
Oh, I'm against
all
it.
the big
but
stuff counting.
I don't know. I'm against. It's good for the sport, but the money was already there. Houston's been great. It's the best rodeo, you know, besides the NFR all year. They try the hardest too. It seems like they're awesome. But they had it before it counted too. It counted, then it didn't count, and so it's like, well, the money's already been there. So sometimes these commissioners want to take all this credit for all this new money. It's not new money. It was the American happened before it counted last year. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's good in a way and bad. I mean, it's got its positive and negatives. I mean, it skews NFR world titles, who the best is, and then. But I don't know if anyone cares. I mean, I think people care in the business, you know, like it makes it hard to make the NFR when all that stuff counts, and it gives teams that wouldn't make it. I mean, that happens, which I don't like. I'm one of those guys that like, I don't like to see guys make it that shouldn't make it because of that. Nothing against whoever it is, whether it be me or not. I mean, I kind of like to see the best guys make it, and if you make it the right way, so be it. But nowadays it's not like that, so. But I don't really get into all that. You just got to win where you go, and you know, shoot, I guess I need to win Houston again to make it easy on me, or the American, and then it makes your year just ridiculously easy.
If you would win Houston or the American, would you stay home and back off your rodeo schedule much? I don't.
I would skip some things.
You would.
Oh, I would skip the miserable stuff. Yeah, Oh, for sure. There's some stuff we do rodeo that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I would skip the nonsense stuff. Yeah, for sure. But you can't really do that. You can win so much at the end now that you just keeps you out there all year long. Like you have a long. I mean, you pretty much got to go till the end.
Yeah.
I mean, no one makes it. I mean, there'll be a few teams that haven't made, in August, but other than that, everybody kind of finally gets it made in August. Early September.
What about now? I guess last question. Because you're not in it, maybe you're paying attention to it. The all-around race.
Oh, you're wrong guy.
You're not an all-around race
not
guy.
an all-around guy.
You don't. You don't care.
No, I don't care about the all-around.
Okay.
Because you don't enter the all-around.
Yeah.
So I don't care. I care about regular events. I think that what I've noticed this year, because I don't watch much anymore of anything, I just rope and lead, but I love team roping, I really do, is that calf ropers look good now.
Yeah.
There's some young guys coming along that, not that there hasn't been some good guys, but it looks like they're getting a new influx of young guys, and that event's starting to look tough.
Do you have a pick in the calf roping?
No.
You don't have any fantasy picks? Are you
No.
going to have a fantasy team?
No.
You're not?
No. I'm not going to do it. No.
Why?
I just want to row. I don't know. I just like team roping. I don't know. I've never been an all-around guy. I just haven't.
So, you just like team roping. Are you going to go sit and watch at the South Point? Are you going to, or are you going to,
No.
are you going to take in any of the other team roping?
No,
You just like
no.
NFR?
Well, I
team
mean, I
roping?
got to go sign autographs at some of these spots, but no, I don't get time to
Yeah.
go do it. Too busy to do it. I think it's great. People win a lot of money. Some of my buddies go out there. I hope they do great. They might send me some of their runs, but I don't really get a chance. I don't have time to go do it. It kind of is on top. They're kind of everything's lapped in. I mean, over top of each other, overlapped or whatever. But yeah, no, I think it's all the NFR what it's grown to. It was big when I first made it, and it's huge now. It's almost unbelievable what. I don't know if it's social media or what makes everything bigger. I do think it is.
You're welcome.
You bet. Because of you made it. You might have. I mean, people see pictures of people doing fun stuff, and then they want to go do it.
No, I don't think that's it.
Well, what's happened with Arizona? I mean, Arizona. I've lived in Arizona. I lived there from the time I was 18 till 25 in the winter before I moved to Texas. Like if I went somewhere in the winter, that's where I went. And it was a destination spot. Then my dad lived in there in the 80s when they were rodeo. So everybody knew the weather was nice there. But now all of a sudden, did just everyone figure it out?
Well, I think
I don't know what's going on.
Those like 60+ ropings and.
But they've had those they had those when I was down there. They had over 40 Wednesdays. They've had them.
Yeah.
Over 40 Wednesdays isn't a new thing, and they had Dynamite Arena. My dad roped at Dynamite Arena. He said it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So there was nothing there, just arena way out there. He told me a story how he had a match roping out there one day. So. Yeah, Dynamite Arena's it's still going.
Yeah.
It was there, but it's like now everybody. I don't know. Is it social media? That everybody knows. Hey, Phoenix is warm in the winter. I don't know. It's kind of odd for me because like Wickenburg when I lived in Arizona, I never roped there one time, and now everybody that's the spot.
That's where you hang out. Yeah.
That's the spot. So it's kind of.
I don't know. Ty worked wonders in Wickenburg.
Somebody did well. Mike Fuller and I don't know the other
Beaver
places.
Bird, yeah.
Beaver was there forever.
Yeah,
he had opens there, low number opens, I think, for a long time.
Long time, yeah, since the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Arizona's amazing now. What it's turned into.
Are you gonna go before the finals? Go for like the week, Vegas week?
I'm not gonna go. No, I've been going to Jackpot a day over here in Texas. There's a lot of them here.
Do you just love it, or you jackpot it out like all the
No,
time?
I like it. I like jackpot, and I think it makes you good.
Yeah.
I think it makes you good rodeo, and I think it makes you good when the big jackpots come around.
Who are your jackpot partners right now?
Jake Long and Jade. So I rope those two, but they haven't been very good. But Driggers is roping's coming up. The cap.
The jackpots haven't been very good, or Jake Long and Jade haven't
No.
been very good?
No. They're good all the time. No, they've been just kind of everybody's been all over the map, but some of them have been good. There's been a couple good ones. They have a lot of them down here, so and they're all right around where we live right here. So
Yeah.
We see a lot of these guys all the time.
Perfect. Well, thank you for part 2.
You bet.
You were nice to me again. You didn't.
I was good.
I thought maybe you would come at me a little bit more, so I'm glad.
No,
that this was even.
I'm not gonna come at you on air. Maybe off air I'll rant to you a little bit, but no, we're good.
Perfect. Thanks, Clay.
You bet. Thanks.
Thanks again to Fastback Ropes for bringing us this episode with Clay Tryan. Remember, you can watch him in the Thomas & Mack with his Mach 3, and we will talk at you later.